Hey everyone, welcome to the first Indie Creators Podcast. We are here in the bar. My name is Arshan. I'm here with John Baltz.
Hey everybody.
Hey, there he is. Today we've got one of our favorite bands, Hollis Brown out of Queens, New York. We talk with them a little bit about music, a lot about South by Southwest, and every now and then we take a shot of Fireball. But first, before we get to the interview, we have some business.
Of course, as always, the Indie Creators Podcast is brought to you by INDMUSIC, serving independent musicians on YouTube, SoundCloud, and emerging digital platforms, helping artists control their rights while helping them out further their career. That's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Great. So let's get to the interview.
Make you shave your head.
The burning bar.
We need to come up with it. After you do 5 shots, you must shave your head.
It's true.
I see we hit recording.
I'm already recording.
Oh, we're recording?
Yeah, we're recording. So, all right, we are live in the bar.
You just said it's called the Britney Spears. Oh,
yeah, with Mike and Dylan from Hollis Brown. Guys, welcome to the bar.
Hey, what's up?
I know we've been chatting for a little bit, but figured we could get this thing kicked off proper.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Arshan's got Fireball ready for everyone.
It's true. I'm Arshan. That's John. Our voices
We're going to
sound
handle
like-
that in the intro.
Yeah, okay.
So you don't have to worry about that. But we're, this is, first podcast. Thank you guys for coming out and joining us.
You weren't kidding.
Arshan is getting
Fireball.
aggressive with Fireball.
Well, there's only one way to do it, I think, with Fireball, which is aggressively, I guess.
And
Do
just
it- do a
ridiculously.
quadruple.
Absolutely. So this is actually the third time you've come to the bar? Last time was to play...
Third time.
Third time,
This
yeah.
is my second, I believe. You did that.
You did that.
Yeah, so we did like a little showcase when you guys were releasing. That's not your last record. That's 2 ago, right?
That's our last original.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, so
People
right on the
think
train is the latest original record from Hollis Brown.
We did like a
Wait,
little.
do you guys think like the Loaded record is a record, like a real record?
In our timeline.
I mean, I listen to that record a lot. It's great. It's
Thank
fun.
you.
And when you played it live, I think you did like half the songs live at one of the shows I went to, and it's one of my favorite Velvet Underground albums too.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting too because I mean, covers are great when they are not exactly the same as the original. And I feel like you guys put your own stamp on it, and I think that came out on the record.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't know. I never view it as an actual record.
I don't
It kind
either,
of was
you
like
know,
a
it's like-
fun record start a project. But like an actual album, I don't know. I wouldn't personally. I don't view it.
tell
as like
us a
an
little bit
album.
about that. Like, what made you decide to take on that project and put out that?
Well, we
Recording.
did Ride on the Train in 2013. Cheers.
Cheers,
With,
everyone.
I'm just going to do the fireball by myself.
yeah, with Alive Records, and then we, I guess it was a year after the album
Mm-hmm.
came out. I guess Lou Reed passed away, and they were doing this tribute at the Bowery Electric in New York,
Yeah, absolutely.
where like everybody.
Which is like the de facto CBGBs now. They used to sort
yeah,
of call
right.
it-
It's become
yeah.
like
The scene, if
the
you will.
scene,
Yeah.
Scene.
And so there was a bunch of people, some from TV on the radio, a bunch of big kind of people doing like one song each, and then we were like, hey, let's just do the whole Loaded record.
that's how it came
Jesse
together?
Malin.
Yeah, so we did it that night at the
At Bowery.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
That's a great room too, because like there's like a mini stage. You get right there right on stage with the band
And
almost.
I guess it got picked up that we were doing this by like all these like Rolling Stones. We were just like, yeah, Hollis Brown's doing Loaded in its entirety. And I guess it just kind of caught. And so I got a call from Patrick, who is the head of Alive Records, and he's like, what do you guys think about doing a record store day? Since you already know the song, just go and record it. And we're like, okay, let's do it. Why not, you know? So we did it. So that's kind of how it happened. So it wasn't like this thing. And then now every show, I swear,
People
all
just wanna
over.
hear it.
It's
every
probably
show,
the most,
Every show, people are like, you gonna do any Loaded
what
songs?
people
I'm like,
know us for the most on
That
the
was just
internet
like
or
a
just
one night
whatever.
thing. you
So
know?
is there sort of like a you kind of want to get away from that? Like you
No,
don't want
I mean,
to, or
A little bit. We were
Wait.
in the Netherlands, and
Yeah.
we were doing this interview, and some guy's like, this is a really interesting choice for a career move to do this as your second album. And I'm just like, what are you
We never thought about it like
It was
that.
just something fun, and we recorded it in like 2 days. Recorded it and mixed it. It wasn't like a. So I don't view it as like a.
That's impressive.
But
2 days?
Well,
yeah,
it's-
all
That's a
live,
rock and roll
though.
mixtape.
Yeah.
That's
All live,
It's funny
yeah.
that you say how we put our own stamp on it, because some of the criticism we got from it was that we just did the songs exactly like they were, and we were like,
Which we did.
We had 2 days. We couldn't try any, so we
We were
just
like
had to do
listening,
it.
like, what's that harmony? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Every time we listened, we started the song, like went
Yeah.
back into the control room to listen to the actual song. a
Just to
bunch.
make
Well,
sure.
that's the thing about rock critics. They always take everything too seriously. It's like
It's
sometimes
a
we're
no-win,
just-
man. It
we're
was a
just fucking
no-win,
Yeah.
but we wanted to do it because it was fun, and it just
Sure.
happened.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
but
and that
that's
kind of
why,
goes
like,
back to what we were talking about before the podcast. Just kind of rock and roll's lost its edge a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's lost the
Yeah.
danger element.
He's said that many a time.
Well, because that's what's great about that album is that, like you guys said, you jump in there 2 days, you record an album, mix it, everything, and then it's out the door. And
Yeah,
it
obviously,
was on like shelves in record stores, which was and it sold out, which was cool. But
Yeah.
like I don't know, I think an album should be original song, not all original, but like an actual
So
thing you're trying to achieve. Not
there's a
just
new push now, right? Like, are
hanging
you,
out.
you guys working on a new record? And there's
we
new
just,
tour dates
we
this
just
year?
finished our second, well, or maybe our third, I don't know, but our second album, it's called 3 Shots. It's
Dope.
going to be out in May.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
Great.
Awesome.
we just
And-
started like getting all the stuff together for the push.
Planning everything
Yeah.
out.
So all end of last year was finishing up touring for Ride on the Train, and
Yeah.
then Loaded, and then you guys toured with the Zombies.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
on tour most of last year, actually. It was a lot of shows. We did like 120 shows in 10 countries or something like that.
That's
Something
amazing.
like that.
so you took 245 days off last year.
Yeah, no.
That's what
That
I
was-
was saying.
that was
one
quick
big
math.
one big
Thanks.
holiday. Like
And we
Norman
recorded a
Jackson.
record too, though. We did record the record.
Absolutely.
That's-
Well,
half
I
the
mean,
year
tell
off.
us a little bit about touring with the Zombies, what that experience was like, working with Rod and Colin and the rest of the guys.
It was, I mean, we're playing with them again in a couple weeks at the House of Blues in New Orleans.
Nice.
And we're going down. We're
You
playing.
feel free to plug your dates, by the way.
Yeah.
We're out to the internet. The internet
Yeah.
responds.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. And honestly, I mean, they're like, what, almost 70 years old? And they're fucking.
Yeah, I mean
they're pretty old.
the biggest thing the biggest thing
I mean, like, they were tight, man.
they were, I mean, so tight musically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Two of the best rock singers I've ever seen in my entire life. But
Yeah.
It took them a while to warm up to us, but.
well, that was
So
like-
what happened?
No, nothing.
Like,
What did you do to the
It's
Zombies?
weird because.
You like didn't hold the door open.
they
Like,
were so
some
nice.
old guys trying to get into the
They were
bar.
incredible.
They were
Shit, that's
so
wrong.
nice to us. Man.
So nice, but they're also, very established and
Yeah.
legacy and
Absolutely.
they-
We really
they-
tried to give them their space, and then they
Yeah.
eventually warmed up. And,
Yeah,
Nice.
they've earned the right to have their.
but
They made Odyssey and
our-
Oracle.
our-
It's
Anyone
kind of
Anyone
like
that
what
makes
you
Odyssey
do.
and
Like,
Oracle.
I guess when you're 70, it's like these young whippersnappers. Let's see how good they are live.
Right.
Yeah, but I will
Now
say
they're cool.
the cool thing about them was one or two of them every night would watch
yeah,
our
would
set.
watch us.
That's awesome.
That's
Every
which
night,
is unreal.
which was cool.
Yeah, that is- yeah.
I would look up and see like Ron Argent just up there in the wing, just like watching us. Like,
And then
okay,
I pee my
that's,
pants
that's
and
awesome.
mess everything up.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
So you pulled a Fergie at one of your shows.
Yeah, we have the same birthday.
Oh, really?
Fergie?
Yeah. I
That
got
is
Quentin
hilarious.
Tarantino, Fergie, and Mariah Carey.
Okay, so I have Abraham Lincoln. No, George Washington.
Well, he's not as cool as Fergie. so.
Drew Barrymore.
Okay.
Oh really?
some heavy hitters.
And your
Yeah.
birthday's coming up.
Yeah, it's on
together.
Sunday.
Arshan's celebrating his birthday Sunday. I think we're going to be releasing this post-birthday.
Yeah,
But,
PBD.
yeah,
Peter
but-
said Pasha.
right. But be sure to wish Arshan a happy birthday on Twitter.
Yeah.
He appreciates those kind of
Yeah.
things.
But with the Zombies, the thing that impressed me the most was that, like, with Legacy Action, it could look like old guys, like, hanging on. It was the complete opposite. They had so much fun, so much energy, and just ripped
They were
it
good.
every night. They were so
really
good. One of the
good.
best shows I've ever seen, every night.
That's awesome.
They were phenomenal.
Yeah, I caught the Zombies on their 50th anniversary tour, and then again when they played in Central Park, and I've never seen a tighter band.
Yeah.
Really
Ever.
tight.
And I feel like their crowds would respond well to your guys' music too. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's very like it's contemporary, but it knows what the past sounded like too. and they're songs, like you're songwriters, and you know they're fully fledged out. So how were the crowds at those shows?
Great.
Yeah?
Incredible. Yeah, it was really good.
And am I making this up?
Listening crowds.
Did you guys do a cruise ship date with them too?
No.
No, they did that before we met them, actually.
Oh,
That would
okay.
have been cool, but no.
Okay, all right.
But they're cool. I mean, I guess it's weird to say that we're friends.
Yeah,
Like,
it
we
is
played
weird.
in London a couple months ago, and
Nice.
they came to the
Colin
show.
and
so,
Steve came and saw
like
us.
Colin Blunstone came
And
to
just,
see us
like,
randomly. So
In London and hung out. It was
nice.
So that's kind of let's talk a little bit about like your genre, like specifically. I guess.
What do you think our genre
mean,
is?
We have no idea. We're
we're
trying to work
trying-
that out right now.
We're trying to figure that out.
I call
don't know.
it rock and roll. It's rock and roll,
Okay,
but like
yeah.
there's also like a little bit of the need to call it Americana rock and roll, just because it has a little bit of like, because there's not a lot of songwriters anymore, and there's something about your band that it feels like it's a band of songwriters.
Right.
And thinking about European tour dates, Americana is huge there right now. Like they're listening to it,
Yes.
and they're devouring
And
it.
we see that
Yeah.
when we're out
So
there,
what are
for
those
sure.
what are those European dates like for you guys right now?
Well, I think they just really love rock and roll over there. You know, it's not, I don't know, spoiled is the word, but you know, over here, rock and roll is kind of taking a back seat, and like what is rock and roll has like changed. Like they still just love like
Yeah.
Guitar
riffs and
music,
guitar,
absolutely.
guitar music. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
the rock
still
and
love
roll
it.
chord,
It's
that
not
E.
it's not stale over there anymore. It's still just fresh, and they love it. But I had an argument over what is Americana, because I've used that word, or like roots rock, but like
Roots-
John in our band thinks that like Americana you have to
I
have
like to take the
banjos
A
and
out.
fiddles.
Okay,
you know?
what do you think?
Instead of
Americana is
Americana,
then?
I prefer just American.
American.
rock.
Yeah.
American rock.
You know, that's what I mean. That's the stuff that I've always liked. And Americana, I think true Americana is banjos, mandolins. That's what I think of historically when I think of Americana.
So does this go back to
my
your-
old Kentucky home and
Right.
Dixie and all those?
Like the
That's
traditional
Sure.
sound.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
Americana.
Does this go back to where you guys got your name from?
Well, I don't know actually.
In a sense, like
We always wanted to just be an American band, and
Right.
and there's great songwriting, a history that kind of you have to, and I think we're one of the last bands doing it, to be honest, that
Yeah.
embraces that whole thing.
especially like I think one of the most interesting things is that you guys are all obviously from different parts of the country, but you guys are a Queens band. Like you play, like a lot of you are from New York, but usually you don't hear this genre coming out of New York City. It'll be like, oh yeah, we're
That's
Kansas
really
City
interesting.
or
I was
whatever.
talking to somebody about that today. How back to like the history of music. I love the history of music, but I think bands were very regional historically. Like back in you're either a Southern sound or like a California sound,
Definitely.
or a Northeastern
Absolutely.
or a Midwestern sound. But today, with stuff like the internet and what we're kind of here, everybody, it's all just becoming meshed up.
For sure.
So you can have influences that you never were able to have before.
No, you're right. Because there was
You
a
know what I mean?
time where, in music, if you said a band was from Seattle, you
Yeah,
immediately
that meant
associated
something.
that
You
with
knew
the sound.
what it was about.
Right, but now you say someone is from Seattle, they could be
Yeah,
anything.
they can-
And that's,
exactly.
that's something that I appreciate
It
about
could be
American
white
music.
hip-hop.
I mean,
It could be
looking
rock
back
and
more,
roll.
I was about to say, that dude,
Macklemore
from Seattle,
from
it's like,
Seattle.
yeah, like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So I think like, exposure is very different now than it was, so it's hard to say, like we're from New York, or you're from Cleveland, Ohio, but it's hard to pinpoint a sound for a region anymore, if that makes sense.
Well, like friends of mine have said, like, the New York music scene, whatever it is, it's not our sound per se. And a lot of people will go, oh, you guys are swimming upstream being in New York, like,
Well-
you guys should go to Nashville or something. And, at times we've been like, oh, maybe this isn't our place. But, I mean, in the long run, it's like, this is who we are, this is the music we love, and like this is the city we live in. And
Yeah.
it's kind of been like, not a badge, but like this is who we
No,
are.
I
It's
mean,
like,
I think that's bad advice. I mean, you'll be, I mean, you stand out from the pack here, and it's not just that you don't sound like the quote unquote New York sound, and that's what makes it
Is there even a New York sound anymore?
Right.
There's
What is-
well, there's
what is New York
100%.
sound?
There's 100% a Brooklyn
It's
sound.
a French
Brooklyn
and Dutch
sound.
DJ.
Yeah.
I can see a Brooklyn
There's
sound.
the DJ thing. There's the there's one drummer, one guy that plays guitar, but he also has 7 keyboards.
Right.
And the lead
Or
singer
lap
has
style.
has a hi hat and a tom, and that's their band. And they
And
just
if they play guitar, they can't play it very well.
right. It's in a MIDI
noise,
controller.
right? It's noise.
But I mean, stuff sounds greater in its own like little universe. But
Yeah.
if that band started, and there are tons of bands like that, like bands that come out of Jacksonville that have that same sound, and you don't say, hey, go move to New York or go move to LA where that's
a good point.
where that's better.
Sorry, you got to be more specific. There's a lot of Jacksonvilles.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Florida?
Florida's a place, right?
Florida is a place.
That's about
Try
right.
not to
Well,
acknowledge
okay.
Florida so much.
Here's the thing. I grew up in North Carolina, so Jacksonville, North Carolina, birthed Ryan Adams. I don't know if that's
Is that
Jacksonville's
where you're
sound.
from,
Yeah, yeah.
Who's that?
And if it's not, the internet is going to correct me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Half of this whole podcast is being wrong and getting yelled at.
I mean,
Podcast number 1, just like flaming message.
Blading message. If please
These guys
Those
reach out to
guys
us on
back
Twitter.
straight.
Get at us.
Our whole goal for this is to get Fergie trending again. Fergie P Pants trending again. If we
Hashtag
can just do
Fergie
that,
Pants.
FGPP.
Well, you guys can come to our joint birthday party at Pasha.
Oh, that's true. Oh man.
Wait, is this another event that we need to plug? What is
Wait,
it?
what?
No, Pasha is just a douchey dance.
I've
bar
never
in
been to
Midtown.
any of the clubs, but there's something so funny about that party. I just talk about Pasha.
Did you
like
see?
like a regular.
There's this video on YouTube, so that narrows it down. But it's this kid who comes out of a brunch and he's hammered, and someone is videotaping him, and he asks him to leave the front of his building because there's drunk kids in front of his building, and it's after brunch. So it's these like 22-year-old kids, and he just cusses the dude out. My dad owns all of Manhattan, and it's in front of Pasha, which has a brunch. Yeah,
Yeah.
My
It's
dad
definitely
owns
gonna
the
be-
dealership.
Yeah.
Pasha is famous for having the drunkest brunch in the city.
Yeah,
Which is
as a
either an
French.
endorsement or telling people to stay away.
It's just
Take
like-
that how
Have
you
you ever
will.
been there?
I'll be there. No.
I've never been to Pasha either.
Now
But
that
I've
they
never been
have
any
a
of
brunch.
those.
I'm
Oh
there.
yeah, I mean,
I'm totally there.
brunch is what we do in New York.
Well, speaking of the New York music scene, Julian Casablancas from the Strokes
Yeah.
left New York because, quote unquote, he couldn't see one more white kid getting brunch. That's why he left New York.
That's not a bad reason, but I also don't believe him. He's still here.
I don't know.
He
He's
has
still
to be
here.
there.
He's got a place.
He's living in like, what's that? The cabin.
We
He's
saw
living
him
there.
downtown. I
Yeah.
saw
They did a show at Shea Stadium.
Did they?
Yeah, when that record was coming out, and I still like to call them JC and the Voids because I think that's way better than Julian Casablancas and the Voids.
Too many syllables.
Too
Julian
many. You
Casablancas.
should just
Did they do a show
get it
after
out.
like a Met game?
no.
Not
So-
Shea Stadium,
No,
the
the-
stadium.
Oh, I was gonna
Shea
say.
Stadium, the music venue.
We can
They're that big.
What?
It could be either.
We can edit that part out.
There
for
was-
sure.
I don't
You're
think you
way
can
closer.
sell
You know
out
what?
Shea
Actually,
Stadium. I don't know
just
about
for the
that.
internet, that might be a
closed
little
down,
confusing
right?
because there is Shea Stadium where the Mets play, and there's
so
also
close.
Shea
I think
Stadium.
neither one exists
The
anymore.
venue.
We shouldn't have cleared that up because I want our listeners to be cool enough to know that there's a venue in Brooklyn.
I don't
called
believe it's around anymore.
Shea
I think it
Stadium.
closed.
It closed.
No, it's definitely still
It's
around.
still open?
Yeah, my friend's
So
band.
Death by Audio closed.
Death by Audio.
Death by Audio
And
closed.
So
Yeah,
Shea
our-
Stadium is a venue. It's actually semi-walking distance from here.
Yeah.
But that night,
We're in
they
Williamsburg,
released their
Brooklyn, by the
record,
way, everyone.
and then they build it as JC and the Voids. That's all they build it as.
That's cool.
And some people knew because like the Cult Records tweet stuff out like, hey, we're putting our record out. We might play in the city tonight. And they did a show that night at Shea Stadium in front of like 80 people.
That's cool.
The So-So glows on that place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
a
thought they
friend,
closed that place.
a friend of
I
mine.
thought it was closing too. Maybe they're still kicking.
I mean, I haven't heard that it's closing. They've closed a ton of spaces, but
Yeah.
that's a little
Dropping
further
like
out
flies.
in terms of Williamsburg parlance. But the way I found out that place existed is that a friend of mine, she hooked up with one of the guys that owns Shea Stadium. And then she's like, I have to go back to Shea Stadium. I left my skirt there. That's all she said. So I was like,
okay.
you went to a
Nice.
ball game
In a
and you
skirt?
left your skirt?
This would have been way more interesting if your friend hooked up with Julian Casablancas.
Yes.
Or a Met player.
Or a Met player.
Really?
Yeah, we're lowballing with the owner of Shea Stadium, the venue.
We'll find out.
It's funny that I thought you meant the real Shea Stadium.
I know, right? That would have been, yeah.
Because they're one of the few bands
I
that
was
can
like,
play either.
I thought Huey Lewis and the News was like played there.
I saw
Clover used to play
Because
there.
they have shows after the Met games now.
I saw Third Eye
They
Blind
did?
Yeah,
there.
they do shows.
Well, at
after.
City Field, I saw Third Eye Blind.
City
That's a
Field.
bold move admitting to that.
Why wouldn't I admit
You
to
went
that?
to see the game. He went to
I
the
appreciate
baseball
that.
game.
No, I went for Third Eye Blind. I specifically bought those tickets.
The last person who told me
Get
I
out
went,
of here. Hold on.
you sought out tickets?
Yes!
StubHub?
No, he
Gentlemen.
was there for the pre-sale. He was like, they go on sale at noon. I am in for Third Eye Blind.
I get emails from the Mets organization so I get discount tickets, but it wasn't. So, all right, I'm sorry, Matt Jenkins. Do you remember his name?
Leroy
But
Jenkins.
it wasn't a great show. The lead singer, it wasn't a great show. It was fine because they basically. So here's what they do. You watch the baseball game. They clear the field, and then you can go sit wherever you want to watch. So you sit at home plate, and they pull a stage out on little pulleys, like little trucks, which is actually pretty impressive to see them set it up.
Yeah.
And then they do fireworks. So half the people stay for fireworks because who doesn't love fucking fireworks?
And then
Everyone loves
one person
fireworks.
stays for Third Eye Blind, and it was you.
Well, I had friends that were like, I want to get on the field because they like selected people for the field to like stand on the pitcher's mound while they're doing their songs. But like they only amplified from the field. They didn't use the speakers in the stadium. So everything was sort of just like, it sounds like if there was like 2 PAs on the field and you are like behind, if you're like behind the screen, like behind home plate. It sounded terrible.
No, I was gonna
but
say.
like, I saw Third Eye Blind.
Hold on,
growing
Third Eye
up.
Blind
Hold
sounded
on.
terrible?
I've seen Third Eye Blind, which my story.
Here's the thing, is I'm sure that Third Eye Blind
Stephen
puts on a
Jenkins, thank you,
great
Stephen
show.
I'm sure they're great. The last person.
I'm sure they are.
The last person who told me I went and saw Third Eye Blind, I was in high school, and my buddies went to the Cleveland Rib Cook-Off
When were you in high school?
to see Third Eye
We
Blind.
need to color this. When were you
The
in high
Cleveland-
school? What year was this?
Rib Cook-Off.
I would have gone to that.
All right, so hold on. Tell
They
me more
got
about
free- they
tell me
got
more
free
about the
tickets.
Cleveland Rib Cook-Off.
They got
Because now I'm
free tickets and they
intrigued by
went
this.
because they're like, yeah, man, all listen to
Third
what
Eye
were their hits?
Blind.
Did they do Wonderwall?
No.
Good thing I sound real cool. At the end of that. Wonderwall.
It's okay.
I saw Third Eye Blind.
You definitely
in
sound cooler than
Austin,
I do.
Actually, South by Southwest, and there was about 20
Wonderwall.
people in this exclusive kind of place, but they shut the whole fucking street down.
Yeah.
There was like 500 people on the street that were just, and there was.
At South
We-
by? Get
yeah.
out of town.
We were about 100 feet from the stage though, and there was like 10 people in the audience. I swear to God, in the place that they actually let you in.
Yeah.
And there were just random people, but it was the cops.
So just to
came,
jump,
so
just to jump in
crazy.
real quick, this is Indie Creators. I'm Arshan. This is John. We're here with Dillion and Mike from Hollis Brown. We have to be talking about Third Eye Blind for a while.
So we're gonna stop doing that.
Just letting you-
No, because we had a great segue actually.
Stop the
I
bleeding.
have to say one thing before we move on from Third Eye
We're gonna
Blind.
do it all.
So my high school band covered Third Eye Blind.
Okay.
At
The marching band?
At After Prom.
What'd you play, guitar?
I played guitar. We did Graduate.
You played guitar in the marching band.
No.
Graduate?
I was in
That's a
band, but I
song?
didn't play in the marching band.
What are the hits?
You know,
This is
that-
ridiculous.
Graduate, they
Blind.
did Jumper, they did Semi Charm
Jumper.
Life.
What kind of marching band has a guitar player?
If you
I know.
happen to be
Graduate?
at one of
I
the
don't
city's premier karaoke clubs, I destroy Semi Charm Life. I will destroy
Is
it.
that
I
one of
believe
your
that
go-tos?
actually.
Yeah, it's absolutely
You
great.
were a die-hard Third Eye Blind
Not
fan,
die
weren't you?
hard. I just love 90s rock music. So I also.
Would you go see them again if they came to town?
Absolutely.
You
All right,
would?
we're gonna have
Yeah.
to change
Three
the subject.
Doors Down
All right.
was also at the Rib Cook-Off.
No, so
I've
you,
seen
so you
Three
guys
Doors
were
Down.
talking
They're from
about
Nashville.
you guys were talking about South by Southwest, and obviously
Yeah.
South by is coming up next
Coming
month.
up.
You guys have plans to be out there?
Yeah,
What-
we'll
what
be
do you-
down there.
Yeah.
What showcases are you playing? Where can people find you? Let the people talk to us. Let the people know. What is going on in
Talk to us
Austin,
about
Texas
this
next
stuff,
month?
Well, we're playing with the Zombies actually again. I told you that before in New
At
Orleans.
South by?
Nice.
New Orleans, right
We're
before.
playing in Houston with the Zombies also. And then we're doing a festival called 35 Denton in Denton, Texas.
Nice.
Okay.
We're doing the Outlaw Road Show, which is...
Willie Nelson's.
No, Outlaw Road
Little
Show
different.
is
No.
Ryan Spalding. He runs a blog called Ryan Smashing Life out
Yep.
of Boston. And Adam Duritz from the Counting Crows, they put on this showcase. So we're going to be doing that. And then we're gonna be just doing all the South by stuff, a lot of different
Nice.
showcases.
A lot of
and just
drinking and
crazy
tacos
shit,
and-
man.
We're
Too
gonna
much stuff.
we're
Too
gonna
much
try and
people.
keep that to a minimum this year.
Yeah.
Try
The
and do a
drinking
little
or the
more-
tacos?
I don't know.
You can't get away from tacos at South by. Austin
say
will
that
make
now.
any food product a taco. It's one of the things that I truly respect about them.
They do this like waffle fried chicken taco thing, don't they?
They make
Yeah.
everything a
Yeah,
taco.
they get food
If you can
vendors,
if you can make a
food
taco out of it,
vendors,
Austin has done it. And if they haven't done it yet, just me talking about this has given them the idea to put something in a taco.
I mean,
Here's
they're
an
probably the
off-topic
best
question we don't
tacos
have
in
to
the
answer. Is a
country now.
taco a sandwich?
No.
No, torta.
Oh, how could you
Torta
say
is
it?
a
Torta is a
Taco
sandwich.
Yeah.
No way.
I have friends that think that burritos and tacos are sandwiches because they're meat
So-
wrapped in bread.
It's a wrap.
Your friends are idiots.
Yeah, I have really dumb friends.
Get new friends.
I might have to.
No. Keep your friends. Your friends are good people.
Your friends are
The
good,
people
they
that I've
just
met.
don't know about food.
So let's back up a little bit. When and this is something that we talk about, with other music people in the office. How do you guys still like playing huge festivals? Like,
No.
well,
We
huge,
hate it.
like South by Southwest and CMJ.
Okay.
Is there sort of like a like you go there like balls to the wall, you do 7 shows, but every other band does 7 shows also. Like, do you feel like
All right,
it's
that
hard to
is
get
a
your
really
head
good
above
question.
water?
Well, yeah, especially
Well,
because with
we-
South
we
by
would-
and CMJ, the media perceives it as this huge thing. But if you
Yeah.
actually go to South by, you can find yourself in a venue with 5 other people
course.
in a band that's playing to an empty room.
Yeah.
Just
When you
like
said big
would
festival,
anywhere.
we were thinking like Bonnaroo, Coachella.
Oh, yeah.
All
It's
the times
you
we've
know.
done those, they get all.
The old tedious. But no, I mean, CMJ and South by is something you guys.
Every
would
year
do?
we leave South by Southwest, I say I never want to go back to this
Yeah.
festival ever again. And every year I go back.
Yeah.
This will
So-
be the band's fourth
Fourth
year
year.
and my third.
Okay.
No, wait. Will it be the band's fifth
Fourth.
and my fourth?
I think it's 4th and 3rd.
Okay.
I don't know. It's one of those. But
Well,
Time flies.
yeah,
and
every
this-
year I'm like, man, by the end of it, you're like exhausted and you're like, what?
what did we gain?
So
I always say I don't want to do this again.
Let's-
I
let's-
really say every year.
let's
And even until like 2 weeks ago, I was like, I do not want to do this thing again.
Well, anything to get
But-
out of a New York winter and just go
Yeah,
to Texas
That's
yeah.
gonna be nice.
in that desert heat for a little
and
while.
we have a
I think
bunch
that's
of
what
cool
drives
shows
people
around it, which kind of sold me.
Like I said, anytime you're playing with the zombies is a
Right.
show of a lifetime.
And I also feel like
There you go.
like whatever the festival is, there's always cool people down there.
Yeah,
like,
no, yeah,
And
it's
the great
worth
part
it.
is like you meet people from Texas and Austin, and they
The
come
thing
out.
is, you have to have your band in a situation where you're prepared to take a mega loss in your, in your
Like, right,
financial
monetarily?
situation. Yeah,
Sure,
like, you
definitely.
have to be prepared that, and we happen to be okay with that this year and
So-
the last couple years, so that's okay, But unless you're prepared for that, sometimes almost devastating financial,
And like
it sucks.
walking around
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
like if
Can
you have
imagine.
if you have like an interview or performance at like say 10:30,
Right.
come like 10 p.m. You've just been walking around in the
Yeah.
heat, maybe
You gotta
playing,
play
maybe
again.
maybe like drinking
You're-
at a bar,
you're
maybe
carrying
doing
gear.
an interview, maybe carrying a gear. Like come 10 p.m. You're just like tired and it's like
Awesome,
Mardi
yeah.
Gras level people, and you just want to like charge your phone and there's nowhere to
Yeah.
charge your phone, and you're just like.
And we're
Like a
also
zombie.
music.
Phone charge
We're
thing.
music fans, so
Yeah.
like we go and try and see.
You want to see? Yeah.
Absolutely.
On
You
top
have to
of
see
us
these bands.
playing,
You
it's
got-
like,
so-
well, you have 10 shows and you have to be here. On top of that, we try and go see every single thing we can, which is sometimes like, because we're music fans. That's
So this
what we
this
do.
was the first year that I'm just like, I don't know if I want to go back.
But we're going. And it's
We are
great.
gonna be there.
It'll be all right.
I mean, so when it comes to South by, do you feel like there are? Because I feel like it's sort of gotten to a place where the people that create the festival don't really listen to what musicians need from it. And musicians are obviously creating the need and the want to be there. So is there something that, I mean, not to put you guys on the spot to think of like the best idea on the planet, but is there something that you feel like would make it easier for you to go down there as a band?
Sure.
Especially if it made
Less
sense financially.
A shot of Fireball would help me.
100%. Less bands.
So
Boom.
so don't
Yeah.
have
If you don't
less
have an official
unofficial
showcase, you should not be
Don't
down
come
there.
to Austin.
That
That's
makes
simple.
sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I sort of felt that way about CMJ this year. It was just like everyone was there. Like every band, there didn't say no to anyone. And it's not that like every band shouldn't get a chance. Every band should absolutely get a chance. But
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
I'm
but
not saying you
here's
shouldn't get a chance.
I'm gonna.
if
I
it's
have
like
to play devil's
pay
advocate.
to get in
here.
or what? What is
I
it?
have to play devil's advocate because a couple of years ago when we were down in Austin for South by Southwest, we walked as far east as we could on
Yeah.
6th Street and found the most amazing show with some of the best bands that I saw at the festival that year.
That was
Completely off the grid.
That was a venue called the Grackle.
That was the
And
Grackle.
we saw my friend's band Shark. They're on Old Flame. They're great
Okay.
friends of mine. And it was a great venue. Stage outside, stage inside, and a bunch of food trucks parked inside. And what we found is those were actually our favorite. That was our CEO, ladies and gentlemen. What we found is
Don't give him any more fire.
those were one of our favorite venues or places to be at South by, was just sort of going out there and seeing
know.
like the unfiltered,
And that's
unsponsored.
the beauty of
Raw.
the
That was
idea
also-
of the festival.
Right, that's
Also,
what the
my
festival was
favorite-
like maybe
My
15
favorite show I
years
saw
ago.
last year too. What I think it is. It's real far east, and it's almost like a little village. It's like closed off. It's like little tiny streets. I can't remember the name, but it's way off in the cut.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite bands from Cleveland, Mr. Gnome. I went and saw them, and it was
Nice.
My favorite show I saw was a random, like you said, I went into a random bar and Kurt Vile just came on stage. I was
That's
like, whoa, this is great.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
it
you
was
want
cool,
from
you know?
those experiences. And I feel like sort of, CMJ sort of picked up on that because maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, the spots to be in during CMJ were the unofficial
Yeah.
Right.
Williamsburg spots. Now, if you want to go to CMJ, all the venues to be at, all the hot spots, all the bigger buzzy bands, whatever, they're playing some venues Lower East Side, and they're also doing Williamsburg. So it's like that's where you go to see that kind of stuff.
Right, but,
Sure.
but
And at
honestly,
CMJ, if you're going to catch the best thing, you've got to talk to the Doritos people. You got to
Yeah.
make sure that
Well,
you're
that's
on
what
their
I'm
side.
saying.
That brings
In
up
answer
my
to your
point, too, yeah.
question, I think it's like you have to have. Okay, so when we went last year to South by Southwest, like I said, you need to shrink it down a little bit, and there's no reason for Kanye West and Jay-Z to be down at
Absolutely
South by
not.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're great artists
Prince,
or not has nothing to do
Justin
with it.
Timberlake.
Real
No
talk,
reason
I
for
saw
that.
Jay-Z at South by Southwest.
and it was
was
probably
not
great.
impressed.
Oh, really?
I was the sound
Alright.
the sound quality was an issue. Like
I'm just saying
the
that's
bass
not the
of the
venue
s-
for Lady Gaga to be at.
Yeah,
and it's
and
not
she-
the venue also for bands who are just going down there just to go down and
Here's
hang
the
out.
thing.
You know
I
what
think
mean?
it is the venue for Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett because I feel like they could really bring it down a notch, take it to the people, really make it happen.
And like
Get
a
it
born and
going.
raised Austinite, an older guy, friend of mine, musician, hates South by Southwest, just like a lot of Austin people. do.
I think most Austinites would agree.
Well, and I argue like, oh, look at the money it brings into the city, but what he hates about it, he goes, it's not a festival about new bands being discovered. It's a branding festival for corporations, and I guess it has been. I mean,
That's what
Doritos,
it's become anyway, yeah.
It is like it's not even what it's a shell
It's
of
still
itself.
awesome. It's still
Yeah.
cool. It's still
Once we
great.
get down there, we're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
this
it's
is-
still like
we have so many,
awesome,
all
you
of
know?
our
But
friends that are in different bands. We get to see. We haven't
I
seen them
just
since we
question
toured
what it
together or
does
whatever.
for the bands that it's supposed to be designed for.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
if you
I
just
think
here's the
a lot of
thing.
people do.
get a little bit
For
of luck,
me,
you can
I'm a
network.
big fan of buying in instead of selling out, and I think that these brands and a lot of the attention that South by Southwest generates is the thing that makes it viable.
Yeah.
I mean, 20 or however many years ago when South by Southwest got started, with Austin being the live music capital of the world, it's absolutely going to be a place where bands are going to go. You're going to be able to see the most amazing artists, but it's the brands that amplified it and made it kind of brought it to the level where it is today. And
National level.
that national level.
That would be
exactly.
like the
It's-
plus side of the.
But it's
It's-
not a
yeah,
national. It shouldn't be a national festival.
Okay,
You know?
and I can't disagree with you there, but at the same time,
That's a good point
I
that
feel
everyone
like
talks about.
anything that makes the music industry pause for a second and say, hey, everybody, just pay attention to what's going on here. And
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna have Jay-Z and you're gonna have Kanye and you're gonna have everyone else coming through, but then in that same breath of an article or tweet or blog post or whatever it is, you're also getting Shark or
Right.
that underground band that probably hasn't seen the
We
light
saw
of day.
like La Luz out there. and
La
we were
Luz
obsessed with
is
them.
amazing.
Look
Absolutely.
what it did for Parquet Courts.
Yeah.
They're like, I think they sold out Terminal 5.
No.
Or Webster Hall.
Yeah, they did.
Webster
They
Hall.
did. They sold out Webster
They
Hall.
played Cameo like last year, and then I saw them on a bridge in Austin, and now they're so
Was
if
it the
everything's-
Bat Bridge?
Did you go to the? They did Palisades too. There's like this new little venue in Bushwick.
Oh, I know that place.
That's
Palisades?
almost.
I never heard of that.
Palisades.
It's a show space like in the old times of
Like
Brooklyn.
DIY, yeah.
There's like a big pole in the middle of it. It sounds awful, but Parquet
Well,
Courts
it's
played
good
there
vibe.
2 nights, and they have like screaming females playing.
I think if you're poised for it and you're like the band and you're just hitting your stride and you do it right, you network properly, South by Southwest can be better than any other
I
any
agree
other
with that.
tool.
And
for
that's
it.
Yeah.
why we're going. 'Cause
Like
for
part-
us,
like
we
that
have
band.
the new record
Huge.
coming out, so
Absolutely.
we have to be down there.
But yeah, and it's
That's
that thing that
Mets help
you
them out.
program around it. It's like you're ready for it, you go, and then yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So we sort of touched on this briefly, and we didn't get into this before, but you mentioned that like you guys have been a band for, I think you said 5 years. So
Yeah,
if you want
5
to
years.
talk, maybe we should know this at the beginning, but if you want to talk a little bit about how you guys formed, and like sort of what brought you here.
Sure. Me and John, the guitar player of the band, John Bonilla, we went to high school together in Queens, and
Nice.
we were friends. We went away to college. I went to University of Delaware. We went to York School of Music for a year, and then we
Nice.
just said, let's come back to New York and play in a band. That's what we always wanted to do. So we came back and we started playing music, and we got Dillion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dillion, we met when we were, we would tour quite a bit in the Midwest and the Northeast when we first started, just playing shows wherever we could. And we played with Dillion's band. And,
So you guys didn't just recruit Dylan because his name was
Good
Dylan
looks.
and
We
your
gotta-
name came from a Bob Dylan song?
You guys can't see my good looks through this podcast.
We'll take pictures. We'll make sure the
Yeah.
internet knows about how attractive you are.
No,
Dylan. Don't
they
worry
would-
about that.
Our old manager was my cousin,
yeah,
Albert.
our own
Nice.
And they would play with, I played in my dad's band and then my band with my buddies in high school, and we would play together when we played in Cleveland. And I just remember this recently, but I would see them and I was like, oh, they're great. And then I would every time accost them and I would say, when are one of these guys going to get up there and sing with you? With
Right.
Mike.
That's awesome.
No one sang harmonies, and I was like, and I wasn't a harmony singer at all. And it's funny to think back, but I was like, one of these guys got to step up. You're doing the whole job yourself, and you're like, yeah, I know, man. But long story short, they needed a bass
We
player.
needed a bass
Yeah.
player.
I didn't have a major in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
So you're like-
moved to New York.
So
like,
playing
dropped
bass
out of
and moving to
college,
New York
we
is
all moved to New York
as
to
good a
start
major as
band,
anything.
right?
Someone
Yeah.
once told me long ago that like a bass player that can sing harmonies will always work.
Valuable.
So
Incredible.
valuable.
If they own a van, they will
incredible.
never lose
yeah.
the band.
Where's that from?
they're
Like, the
in.
bass player needs. Oh no, I'm reading Keith Richards' book. The reason
Yeah.
they kept Bill Wyman around is he has a Fox
Yeah, the
AC30.
ampliphone. Yeah, amplifier.
None of
Ampliphone.
them, like
Yeah,
whole-
the
having an
amplifier.
amp was like a thing
Yeah.
that only rich people did for them. So they were like,
That's
he's
They
got an
all
amp.
plugged into the same
Yeah.
amp. That's the crazy thing.
All you need
but
is one mic. Nas
They-
taught me
they
that.
kept it
all you need
around.
is one mic.
No big deal.
ladies and gentlemen, it's the first time I heard John Baltz make a hip hop reference.
I'll make
was
hip hop
great.
references all day. It's very rare that I get the opportunity.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah, so we got Dillion in the group. Dillion was in the band for like a month, and we recorded that album right on the train in Nashville with Adam Landry, who did Middle Brother record and Deer
Deer
Tick
Tick,
record and all that stuff.
nice. Love your
So we finished that record, and it took us a year of just gigging in the city and gigging around to get somebody to put it out. So we got a Live Records to put it out. They're out of LA. They signed like the Black Keys, so like their first album, and
Yeah.
Iggy Pop, a bunch of different bands and stuff. And then we've just been basically for the last 2 years touring nonstop the record, and
Yeah.
then we were able to make another record this year. Well, we did the Loaded thing in between for Record Store Day.
Right.
And we got a chance to do this new record that's coming out, and we toured that record so much. Actually, there's 4 people on the Ride on the Train album cover, and one of them is Mike Graves, who was our drummer at the
Yeah.
time. But
Dylan made the cover.
Dylan made the cover a month in. But Graves, the lifestyle's not for everyone all the time.
You guys remember
believe it or
giving me an
not.
autographed copy of this record?
I
Yeah.
do. My crappy signature.
Yeah, I was like, what is that
This
weird
is,
thing on
uh,
my face?
this might have been
You
a-
say crappy. It looks good. It's a
think-
good look.
It's changed since then. I've got a great one now.
All right, so we're gonna need a signed copy of the new record once that comes
on the
out.
back.
Just you wait.
The first
All of
time
it.
I
I'm
saw
waiting.
you guys,
I'm right here.
I think when you signed this was at your publicist Fiona, right? Yeah, Fiona Bloom. She like texted me. She's like, "Hey, this band, you gotta come see them. Hollis Brown. They're playing right in the neighborhood, and our office is down the street. And you guys did like this little mini showcase.
We did in that house
at that house, and it was. I remember like
That was your first interaction with us?
that was the first time, and it was sort of like when you guys played here in our office. You're like, Mike, you kept telling me we're much louder than this normally. We're not just like a bunch of acoustic guitars and a keyboard.
We rock, I
like
promise.
we will rock out. And I was like, I believe you. And he's just like, trust me, live will blow your face off. And that show, like one of the good things about the songs is that they all translated well to like stripped down and then like turned up really well. So that was a really.
Oh yeah, I think that's a sign of a good song. Right?
Yeah, absolutely,
absolutely.
Any way you
100%.
play it, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we did that record, and then we needed a new drummer, so we got Andrew Zano to keep up with the touring and the direction we wanted to go. And we also wanted to add a little more depth to us, like Dylan was talking about before, harmonies.
Right.
My favorite band is the Beatles, and so I love vocal bands.
That's a bold move.
I know. It's whatever.
Good one,
it is what it is, but
They're a good one. Didn't last very long.
Lou Reed would say otherwise.
It's a good movie.
yeah. Well, that's funny. We did a Velvet Underground record.
Lou Reed thought
Nothing-
Beatles
It's
were
not.
garbage.
There's nothing funny about that. It's just really good.
But I just love we all love vocals, so we wanted to add another, be able to sing a bunch and just add another dynamic like a piano. So we needed another
Nice.
player.
Yeah.
So now we're a 5-piece band, and we got Adam Bach to
Yeah.
fill in, play piano and sing and help me.
So the new record coming out. You said coming out in May. Is it a lot of that same sensibility? Like, are you guys writing the songs all together, or how's everything coming together in rehearsals and stuff like that?
You mean like?
Is it written? Is it written?
Yeah.
and done?
What was the
done.
process?
Yeah, awesome.
Completely done.
Oh, it's mastered. It's ready to go.
Right on.
So
How did that process work?
Is this a Little Wayne
along-
situation where you're just dying to get it out, or you
well, we
guys?
don't write our
Second
shit
hip hop
down.
reference from John
Second hip
Baltz.
hop. I'm gonna keep making them until you stop making fun of me
We
for
don't
making
write
them.
our
So
shit
I'll
down,
start
we just
making
kick it
ska
through our
references
head.
then.
Please, yes.
I'm
Let's talk
dying.
about ska music.
I'm dying to get it out.
Yeah, it does seem like it's been finished now.
But like I don't realize that we put out an album like last year. So, but to me, it's
Sure. Well, you
I'm
you
very,
guys have been
like-
playing dates nonstop.
Yeah,
It's
but
like-
for me, I'm very on to the next. I kind of just want to do the next thing always. That's just the type of person I am.
Yeah.
Even like this record, it's done already, but I'm thinking like, hey, when's the next record?
All right. So talk to us about it. What's next for you guys?
We gotta put this record out.
Well, you're gonna put this record out. You're
Yeah, we're gonna
touring.
go on
You're touring to
tour a bunch.
support it.
Well, the immediate
Yeah.
future, Mercury Lounge, right? So
Yeah,
that's
March
one thing we
5th.
can talk about.
March
So
5th, we're playing a Mercury Lounge, and we'll do the 2-week tour, South by Southwest in March.
Nice.
And then we're planning a big European tour, a couple months out in Europe, and
yeah, fuck yeah. So
we're going to Mexico for 5 days.
We're excited about the
Mexico.
new record. Most
Mexico.
Yeah,
Nice.
All right.
Mexico,
So
yeah.
all right. So on the docket, March 5th, Mercury Lounge. Everyone come to that show. If you're in town, if you're in New York City, come to that show. It'll be a good time. If you're at South by Southwest, check these guys out.
Yeah.
They're on Instagram at Hollis Brown Music. Twitter is Hollis Brown. This is Indie Creators.
Indie Creators. This is
Yeah.
this is the first podcast that we
Yeah.
put out from this,
Yeah.
and
Also, if
Wait,
you're-
you have to have us back for the 100th.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
100.
Serious. Every 100th, you have to have us back.
Yeah.
100, 200, 300.
All right, you
gotta
heard
have us
it
back.
here. We're gonna keep it 100 with Hollis Brown.
You are in the
That's
hip-hop
number
mode
3.
tonight, right? I'm saying.
The hot news.
I told you, I'm
That
gonna
is
keep making
amazing.
these. I'm keeping.
It's the microphone.
Gonna keep
The
making these
microphone
references.
brings it out of him, I think.
That is amazing.
The microphone in Lagunitas Brewery.
right,
If you're listening, Lagunitas,
It doesn't.
call us. It does it.
Thanks so much, Dylan. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thank
Good
you,
having
guys.
you guys.
It was
We'll
amazing
catch you guys
having
on the
you guys
road. Be sure to pick up the record coming out in May. Wait, does the record have a name yet? The new record?
3 shots.
Three shots.
All
We're
right.
excited.
Which is
about it.
exactly how many shots I should have had during this podcast.
So that's 3 less than what you actually
3
had?
less than what I actually had,
That makes sense.
or 2 less. I had 1 during. Anyways,
We'll have a
guys,
bunch
thank you so much for coming and joining us for our
Thank you,
first
man.
podcast. It was amazing, and yeah, we'll keep it here.
say bye
We'll
now.
keep it 100.
And there it was, ladies and gentlemen, the first ever Indie Creators podcast. Thank you for listening. Be sure to come back. We have much more in store for this series.
Thanks again to Mike and Dylan for coming to the bar and joining us. Hope you'll come back and check us out. In the meantime, be sure to hit us up on Twitter. You can find us at INDMUSIC, INDMUSIC.
Yep, there it is.
That's it.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.